Yo, hello. Welcome to the grand finals. It's one hell of a place to show up.
Oh, this is the grand finals?
Yeah, we are actually at the final cast of
Dang.
the whole tournament. We had a whole bunch of build-up and everything. Yeah, and I'm gonna quickly bring up the list of actually the prior tournaments that we had, because we have two repeat people that have been in tournaments before. We've got kopiuyt on one side, who has been in one tournament seventh, and Agent Cypher 19, hilariously enough, has been third every single time. Pretty incredible. Also, I ought to introduce my esteemed co-caster. Hello, 16,000 Rager, surrounded by
Dude,
pentagons.
nah, it's 1600
Currents,
Rager. You just call me
1600.
Rager though.
That works. Rager, welcome. Thanks for coming to cast. We got a lot of
Uh,
awesome duelists to check out.
what am I supposed to say something now?
You could. I was just flipping slides.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I've never casted anything in my life before. It's
Awesome.
gonna be fun though. It's gonna be awesome. I'm ready for it.
Cool. All I need is the attitude, right? You don't even really need to know what's going
Yeah.
on. It's like, all right, you summoned that cat. And as for my captioner, a funny thing is happening to the web captioner that I always use. It's actually going away in October, so I'll need to figure out some other alternative for that. But I think I've got it looking good now. This tournament that we've got, we're just down to the last two people. It was a double elimination, so we've actually got a upper bracket situation. kopiuyt has a massive advantage here against Agent Cypher 19. And even beat him 2-0 earlier in the tournament, but Agent Cypher 19 did beat kopiuyt 2-0 in the group stage with these decks, so maybe looking to even up the score. What's going on here is we'll need two sets of best of threes from Agent Cypher to take this, whereas kopiuyt only needs to win one best of three. And the format of this tournament, everybody came in here with two decks, and then in each of these best of threes, you have to win with both deck. So let's switch over to our slide that shows these lovely decks that we've got. We've got two people that are agreeing that Xerix is the way to go, because they just love them Vitruvians. They have very different styles on it. Agent Cypher is going for a fault style with Kanum Ka, which means the explosive power is a little more later game, it's a little more board based, and then the other guy, kopiuyt, has Pantherin and a ton of Scion's wishes, and is looking to get explosive with stuff like casting Scion's Third Wish, which is a spell that gives flying and a big buff. So those decks don't look anything alike. And then if you look to the secondary decks that they both brought, those are even less common. Tons of 1Xs in these lists. It's kind of a variety pack. We've got Songhai on one side, Vanna on the other side. Fortunately, we don't have any lizards. I know how much you dislike Magmar.
Yeah, I told people in Discord to remove it from the game.
I basically did with our ban list. They kind of got shot down with them, and I almost made it even more harsh. But maybe we'll give the lizards some mercy, because for some reason we never see them in the top echelon of the tournament. They always get bonked out. Vitruvian was by far the most popular. There were so many Vitruvians. It was pretty nuts. And as
Why
we
do you
see it
think
here,
that is though? Because like not even in tournaments, just in game, like I see probably twice as many Vitruvian as anything else.
do you? Maybe it's because of the wide range of styles you can do. You can do all kinds of cheese that's really funny. Like, you can do Sinister Silhouette, which will lock a unit down in place, and then you can give it all kinds of buffs so no one can get away from it. Vitruvian's got really cool late game in a lot of different ways. They're actually surprisingly powerful in the later game, so they don't really fall off.
And they're fun too. It's probably the main reason why people pick things. Like not even just for strength, just for fun.
Definitely. Definitely a huge factor there. So let's get into our 2 to 6 games. If we have kopiuyt just win 2 games here, once with Xerix and once with Faye, then we'll wrap it all up. But if Agent Cypher can claw his way into a victory of a best of 3, we're going to reset the whole situation, and then they'll have to win with their decks again. And then we'll just run it from there. Well, that was an excellent amount of preamble. Rager, do you think you are ready to jump into the first best of 3, game number 1?
I think I am. That's gonna be the very first number there, right?
Yeah, ends in a 9. So we'll just copy this, go to profile, and then hopefully we can just paste and we'll be synchronized. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, give me a countdown.
Let's paste it in 3, 2, 1. Paste.
Dude, I love the drama.
Hell yeah. You gotta ham it up. We're definitely not starting soon. We are starting now. We've got kopiuyt. Did your thing load? How are we doing?
Yeah, it's loading. Yeah.
Cool. We can actually see there's a couple trophies on kopiuyt's side, but he's just got a bunch of gauntlet trophies. Looking to get a tournament trophy. Agent Cypher 19 has placed at least third place 5 times now, so we should probably just give him some kind of special bronze, because what the hell, no one's come even close to that. And while you're doing the replay, be sure not to hit spacebar, otherwise we'll just get horribly desynced, because it immediately puts it into turbo mode. Yeah. So we can see a pretty good Vitruvian opener of turn 1 obelisk. But where do you think it would be placed? Directly in front? To the diagonal? Behind you? If you're player 2, you usually want to put them behind you. But if you're player 1, you usually want to put them ahead. And there it is.
Put it right in front of him.
Yep. Good old building. Turns into a wall if you can silence it, but otherwise it just spits out 2/2s every turn. Pretty nice.
It's a very cheap looking starting hand for Agent Cypher here.
Agent Cypher is a lot of spells, and not really what he wants for an opener, because the Illusionist needs a spell to be cast. So that's actually the best bet, because the Sparrowhawk doesn't even function unless you have another Arcanist. Bond meaning the text only triggers if it's got a match in terms of the creature type. But with Mist Dragon Seal, this Illusionist can be brought back to safety real nice, and even spawns the illusion back here too, so this Wind Dervish can't clean it up for free. So we've got that backline value generator. kopiuyt actually has the tool to go after it though with this Scion's Third Wish. This spell could be cast on this 2/2 to make it a 5/5 to go after the Illusionist, but it takes the whole turn to do that. That can't be right. But there's no other way to hit it. So it's just going to spit out a couple 2/2 or 2/1s.
Well, that Illusionist is still cooking. You gotta do some face damage early.
Yeah, there's 2 Gotatsus, and with this Assassination Protocol, kopiuyt or Agent Cypher is not running out of gas. I really like the Flame Blaze Obelisk, or Fire Blaze. Play is probably dropping that or dropping Dunecaster, because Dunecaster will turn this 2/2 into a real minion.
Does Fireblaze Obelisk apply to only the dervishes that it summons, or just all dervishes?
It's all dervishes, so the 2/2 out here immediately becomes a 3/2. So it could just push in for an extra point of damage, which would be nice, but takes advantage of where it spawns to get that mana. Okay, this is a cool build. By grabbing both mana, both the minions I was talking about was able to be dropped. kopiuyt with a pretty nice turn, getting the obelisk, getting the Dunecaster. Dunecaster also being a dervish gets the +1 from the obelisk. But the Dunecaster is definitely food to these Gotatsus, so that's not anything concerning. Songhai actually has a lot of problem doing burst damage to things that aren't generals, mostly. Takes them a lot to do a ton of damage to a minion. So I feel like these obelisks are really going to stick. Or unless... could clear this Fireblaze Obelisk right now. Agent Cypher could, by casting an Assassination Protocol to give this Illusionist an extra step. Other option is Sparrowhawk. Yeah, because this hands off a +1/+1 teleport spell. So really there's no safe place to be. Had an opportunity there to destroy this obelisk, but didn't. Valuing getting that 3-1 off the table instead. Because I was thinking this Illusionist could get the +1/+1 buff and then immediately fly it in to take out this Obelisk. But Agent Cypher, not intimidated by one more turn of this Obelisk, just gonna attack it. Seems pretty good. This backline is mostly defended. There's no getting to this Illusionist. And Agent Cypher drawing more tiny cards. All about the gas.
Is he having a lot of luck with the draw, or does he just have a lot of cheap spells in that deck?
There's just a lot. Well, there's a lot of. It's kind of a variety pack. You get a lot of everything. It's pretty decent luck to get your small draws like this earlier because it gives you more kinds of plays you can do. Like the Scroll Bandit could be reactivated with the protocol to immediately get a steal in. So it could just like possibly steal one of these Blood of Errors. More likely going to be stealing one of these Wishes. So might not even go for it. Kopiuyt had a pretty solid turn, just dropping the Spelljammer to get 2 draw. Agent Cypher kind of cheating 2 draw, getting it with the Gotatsus. And a Spelljammer is a miserable thing to go after, because if you kill it, you're just denying yourself an extra card draw, you know?
Denying them a card draw too.
Well, they drew a card at the end of turn. So Kopiuyt passed and went from 3 to 5. It's kind of a tough choice, but Agent Cypher able to full clear here. Ooh. Instead of just slashing it immediately, dropping the Scroll Bandit. And it steals a very usable spell. Bone Swarm pretty decent. And just an absolute wall of tokens.
How much damage is that in total between all those illusions?
Well, if they all came crashing in, they can only do
9.
6 by themselves. But Agent Cypher's really got to watch his positioning. Star's Fury is going to absolutely wreck if there's a lot of surface area. So it could be a spell that just summons 4 2/2s. Would have to move the general first before casting it, but Kopiuyt could just get an army in a can that way. That seems too good to not go for. Blood of Air is not really what you want to be throwing on these tiny targets. So it gets replaced.
Yeah, their obelisk there.
Yeah. Goes for the army in a can. This is pretty strong because this is going to be able to kill almost all these things. This illusionist in the back still gets to live. And I would expect the Scroll Bandit and the Sparrowhawk to be the targets here. Just destroy every Arcanist you can before the nasty Panda Witch shows up. Although Kindling was banned, so not actually going to be seeing that. Playing it in a way to push face damage a little bit. And keeping this Wind Dervish in the back, it's going to be a 7/7 flying at some point. As soon as this third wish hits it. And
I think that
Agent
might be
Cypher is...
a win condition.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as Agent Cypher's down to 7 health, right, then you're just going for the win. So kopiuyt might just be buying his time, keep that thing in the back. Agent Cypher being all spells. Not particularly great spells, though. Like, these don't really work. Best
I think
play.
maybe even as early as next turn, he might throw out that Science Third Wish and just start hitting it with a Dirge.
Yeah. So spending a resource, the Jux, to get rid of the Obelisk, definitely good here. Puts his Illusionist in a funny position, but that's fine. Could potentially save it with Mist Dragon Seal. There it goes. Some insane value out of this turn 1 creature. It's made so many tokens. Kind of a weird situation. Kopiuyt here really needs a copy of Ghost Lightning, which is the Songhai spell to do 1 damage to everything, which is also impossible to draw. So, plan B, plan A. Probably just to drop Sand Swirl Readers. Get a Sand Swirl going. Kopiuyt disagrees. Time for buildings. Wants to play some SimCity. Which is fair, because this is 12 hit points of just building that's locked in this she die, so Songhai can't get out. Trinity Wing is pretty sweet. It gives you 3 1-cost spells. And then Agent Cypher's also got the Fugitive. Teachings of the Dragon. One of them is a spell that does 2 damage to anything. One of them is a buff to your general that just gives it a point of attack. And the other spell is heal 3 to anything, I think. And it just...
So they're all...
Yeah, they're all kind of...
different.
Yeah, here they
I'm
are.
assuming they're all 1 mana, right?
Yeah, you get the same 3 every time. So now there's an option of like deal 2 damage and then hit with the general and the illusionist to clear one of these buildings. All while this illusionist in the back is just going nuts. It's a pretty nice, this Trinity Wing is really good to have as top end for spell high because it gives you a ton of gas when you're just prone to running out. It's a good thing Kopiuyt didn't use Sand Spore last time, because it would have been blasted this turn. Just because the +1 attack would be able to clean up this 3/3 so nicely. And 4 wins Magi is how to win games, so Agent Cypher's got a bomb. Kopiuyt's got some pretty good ways to push the clock, but is running out of gas himself. Going to need to start relying on these sand swirls to start generating units.
Especially in a deck like this with a hand like this, the 4 wins Magi could easily turn around.
Yeah, this is looking extremely dire for Kopiuyt now that this is showing up in hand.
This guy's got 4 wins and 4 arms.
And 4 spells to go with it. Even 2 extra spells with this Petal Fury. It might be lethal right here. Oh yeah, it's definitely lethal. Bone Swarm shows up, GG. Yeah, because flies in with this Arcanist, that just does 4 by itself. Yeah, maybe just short of lethal. Scorn would have been pretty incredible at any point in this match to just mop up everything, being a minion that does 1 damage on entry. Kopiuyt needs something like Blood of Air to take out this Magi. Agent Cypher's doing one heck of a landslide in terms of this health swing. These Warlocks don't even look good anymore.
The Trinity Wing has way more value than I expected.
It's so sick. It doesn't work if you don't have any other Arcanists out, so you can't play it on an empty board.
Oh, because it's only Bond.
Because of the Bond, yeah. But Bond does funny stuff where it triggers even when you don't summon it from your bar. So you can like copy it or steal it and it triggers.
Do a little bit of self-bonding.
Kopiuyt has no removal, just a way here to draw Songhai some more cards. What a nasty board situation. Can at least trap Shaddai, so Agent Cypher can't just walk out with this general. And then the Sand Scroll Reader can at least hit for 4 and stay alive. So Agent Cypher's got to keep his threats coming and his spells going. And now the timer's really on with this +2/+2 buff. That is not a simple thing to clear. Generally you clear a minion like that by destroying the general. But even with the ping from the Bone Swarm and 3 spell casts, it's not going to be enough to just immediately win on the spot.
You gotta get those illusions over there.
Yeah, this is so much damage represented in just being way too far away. Wanted to keep this illusionist in a safe spot, but now these tokens can barely contribute. Does have the 2 extra spells with the Petal Fury. And the Phoenix Fire to the face, hold up.
That's gonna be lethal, isn't it?
Yeah!
Oh yeah, it is. GG.
Can't count this Songhai out that early. Incredible stuff. Good burst. Kopiuyt really looked like he was making one heck of a comeback there at the second there. But yeah, so now that the first match has been played, Agent Cypher is well on his way to doing a bracket reset, just needs to win one more game. And then we'll be forced to play his Xerix list. So we're going to be seeing Trigon Obelisk ×1, the 1 cat packs, and then Portal Guardian's going to be huge and smashy. Are you ready to jump into game number 2?
Game number 2, I'm ready.
Alright, well, let's paste that in 3, 2, 1, paste.
Nah, my thing isn't loading.
Should we paste again? Are you at the...
like the profile thing where I have to paste it, it's not loading.
Okay. Well...
Oh, there we go. Alright, give me another countdown.
Let's go in 3, 2, 1, paste. We are at game number 2 of the grand finals of DGGO number 5. We've got kopiuyt on the upper bracket side, but we've got Agent Cypher winning 1-0 currently.
Another 2 Vitruvians, wow.
Yeah, kopiuyt actually had the option to switch between either of the 2 decks because he hasn't won yet. And then Agent Cypher locked into this other deck, having won with Shidai. And we're seeing a pretty different texture here. The Celebrant gives some mana, the Dreamshaper gives some cards. Pretty much half of the Vitruvian decks I feel are going to be running these 2 minions, or at least they love this Dreamshaper. Because 2 mana draw 2 on a 2/2 is the real good stuff. Just gonna put it right in the center. And kopiuyt doesn't even have a good response here with Bone Swarm, because that's only gonna hit a Celebrant.
That tempo just left him flabbergasted.
Yeah, because now there's this mana spring that's like funnily in the back diagonally, and extra mana, like if nothing happens, there's a fault that's played next turn, which is kind of a game ender. I don't know, I feel like the payoff for Agent Cypher's style, going pretty hard into the sand, is a little better for the late game compared to all these wishes, which are kind of decent spells. They're not that good, but you get a free minion kind of as a rider if you can cast all 3 spells, so there's some extras to it. kopiuyt doing the good thing, stealing all this mana. So the fault is going to have to come down on the 6 mana turn, most likely. Unless Agent Cypher can defend this mana tile and then just take it next turn. I don't know if that's worth it. Okay, grabs it now just to Sand Swirl Eater this Duskweaver away. Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay. Going for the Obelisk instead. Probably a good choice, because that would have spat out a disposable 3/2 shitter right away. I'm happy the captioner is doing some funny things with what it's writing out. Yes, game ender is a gay matter.
Oh, you have a captioner there?
Yeah, one of my favorite gimmicks is having a little ticker of just text at the bottom of the stream that writes out what I'm saying. Most of the time it does pretty good. Like it notes klaxon. Okay, maybe it doesn't. It forgot klaxon.
Not a real word, is it?
That was the name of one of the minions. Pulchritudinous is a real word, but it forgot that word too. It used to be able to write out emojis too. You could be like, crab emoji. We actually... Blood of Air to take out a building is pretty good. Agent Cypher really cleaning the board. kopiuyt down to... This is just it. General on general.
Both at 21. Playing blackjack.
Yep, perfect. Seems pretty symmetric, but the Sand Swirl on the bottom might destabilize the whole match. We have Panther in hand, but it doesn't cost 0. So kopiuyt's gonna have to do some more wishing first. Might be a good time to... I don't know. Spelljammer and Silence First Wish isn't that great, because you end up burning a card. But it's basically the only play. Kopiuyt's actually got an incredible counter here to the fault. If a full column of minions are generated, Star's Fury can counter that. Generate about as many. Sand Swirl number 2. This thing used to hit diagonals, but it's like one of the best cards. So now it only hits adjacents. So it hits the 4 squares up, down, left, right of it. So when you're playing this card, be sure not to play it diagonally of a minion you want to bounce.
You think Asian Cypher's Cataclysmic Fall is going to be immediately followed up by... Where is it?
Like a 1-drop or something.
Oh no, I think he either... No, I just replaced it, never mind.
Yeah, Agent Cypher doesn't have any ways to activate it right away, which kind of makes it just kind of a medium play, because 6 mana do nothing might be a way to lose the game. Even dropping this Portal Guardian is better. So might like to clear the sand, drop the Portal Guardian on the Kopiuyt sand, and then just try to play board control from there. But then again, maybe dropping the 7/7 is just better. Another funny thing you can do in this matchup is the Celebrants can create mana on top of a Sand Swirl to basically destroy it. So Agent Cypher's got that option. And in fact can do both things. And even you where the BBS Iron Dervish would spawn, so I was able to immediately just take the mana that was created. Strong turn. This
The mana tile
formation
can destroy the sand, and the Dervish can destroy the mana tile.
Yeah. Bone Swarm is going to be pretty lit, though. Because it gets 6 hits. Immediately casting that.
He's just asking for it at this point.
And then a Silence Third Wish doesn't actually function here. Because Kopiuyt would love to give this Sandstorm Reader +3/+3 to just destroy this Guardian, but it only works on Dervishes. Same thing to this Dunecaster. So there's no surprise damage that Kopiuyt can use to just take this Portal Guardian off the table. Might look to just sit on the sand anyway. This 3/3 is probably clashing into this 2/3. Or maybe just pushing damage. Set Agent Cypher
I wouldn't
down.
be surprised if he uses a wish now.
Yeah, it needs a target though, because it only works on a Dervish minion.
Oh, only works on Dervishes, yeah.
Yeah, Panther doesn't even count. It's funny, 8/8. Okay. Well, this seems like a fine turn, using a 3/3 to push in a bit of damage, block this swirl. Escapes out of range of this Portal Guardian in case it immediately gets a ton of attack, which this deck is really good at doing. Might actually look to do that now. Portal Guardian moves in, Cataclysmic Fault, make a ton of sand, and then a Celebrant to activate it. Which shoots Portal Guardian's attack through the roof. Agent Cypher looking extremely powerful in the second game. Looking to close out this bracket reset. Does have one minion. The Spelljammer could be given a buff, but it's gonna be just not enough. 12-6. Agent Cypher's even got the cat in hand. These Pantheons would actually be pretty sick if kopiuyt was able to do all 3 wishes, but wasn't able to get all the pieces of Exodia lined up. Best option is throwing all the buffs on this one creature just so it can take out this Guardian. Does buy an extra turn.
All the way with this thing.
Yeah, it's the only fast damage that he's got. And actually, that was all 3 wishes. So it is time for a couple of free 8/8s. And with this Portal Guardian off the table, suddenly this doesn't look so bad. Fortunately for Agent Cypher, has got some real quality removal in hand. And even has enough to take care of both of these 8/8s. Fifth Canopic is a pretty nasty minion. It just shuts down some kinds of decks. I had a BBS focused deck last tournament, and I got bopped by one of them. Watch out. So here's Blood of Air. And I thought kopiuyt had a path to kill both 8/8s, but definitely not the case. So gonna have a big boy to deal with for a turn.
You could kill it with Sand Dervishes.
Yeah, they all moved though.
Oh, they're all exhausted there.
Yeah. So in theory, if Agent Cypher still had 2 copies of Scion's first or second wish, could win, but already cast 2 of them. This was so close. Might as well go for the hit that's there.
Talk about a funny looking board.
Got this 8/8 minion wailing on the general with 2/1s everywhere. And despite being at 4 hit points, looks like he's got it.
Oh, I think he does got it. Oh, you can kill the Pantheon though.
We can't forget about Rash's Curse, which just makes a Wind Dervish right at the enemy. Pretty sweet tech. Here's that 3rd copy of the Second Wish. So Agent Cypher might be considering how to play around the spell that makes the 2/2 Dervish right on top of you. And you play around that by not having any open spaces around you. And with this many units, could pull it off. One hell of a board, and still has all this gas in the tank. Really powerful action bar at the top there. Ooh, hold up. If Agent Cypher had 2 copies of Rasha's curse, you wouldn't have anywhere to drop it, because now there's this giant fortification everywhere. Bone Shard still does 2 damage immediately, so there are still outs. Blood of Air is not it. Congratulations, Agent Cypher! Resetting the bracket 2-0. Which means we are in for the long haul. We hit the halfway point. And we're just going to do it all over again. And the upper bracket advantage that kopiuyt had was snatched away with a nice 2-0. Which means we've got a decoy game for Game 3 Series 1, because that never happened. We're going to be jumping into the second best of 3. And we don't know what their starter decks are going to be for this. We might see a lot more sand. We might see the Vanar bust out. Ready to jump into second best of 3 Game 1?
Yeah, I'm excited to hopefully see something other than Vitruvian now.
Yeah, we might see a non-Vitruvian mirror, or we might just see a Vitruvian mirror. Alright, well, let's jump into second BO3 game number 1 in 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Got a Songhai.
Yeah, Songhai for some huge damage. Pantherin is here to look for his free quest again, but it's absolutely not what you want in the opening hand, so that just gets pitched. And we just got this one Chakri avatar, which was nerfed today in Duelist 2, where now it's a 0-2 instead of a 1-2. Because Songhai was pretty ridiculous over there. Yeah, it's pretty cool here too. Songhai might be my favorite faction. There's so many funny things you can do with it. It's a little more straightforward though than Vitruvian, which I've seen some really weird Vitruvian builds. Is kind of debating right now, Agent Cypher, is where to drop this minion, because you don't want it to get immediately cleaned up. Because it could win you the game, but it could also just get hit by anything once and disappear.
I think he's got to be pretty defensive with it. I'm going to put it behind him.
Okay, goes for the mana. Well, if it goes behind, there's a couple things that could still catch it, so I guess it isn't bothering. It's actually pretty good to get the mana in this position with the Owl Beast in hand, because the jump to 4 mana is a big play. Kopiuyt's probably just getting a tempo out in the middle again, doing caster, buffing up the other Duskweaver. Seems good. Okay. Not giving Agent Cypher the option for clearing that easily. I still feel the play is diagonal step with the Avatar and a diagonal step to take the top mana with a Owl Beast, because that leaves leftover mana to Gotatsu something or to Assassination Protocol something to safety. Protocol probably a little better to put the Avatar back, and then the spell, the Owl Beast likes that and gives everybody a +2. This Illusionist, though, did so much work last time it came out. Maybe Agent Cypher's thinking about that.
Yeah, it's going to get extra durability from the Owl Beast because it's an Arcanist.
Yeah, and then all of the tokens get it too, so it becomes unclean-upable.
All the tokens are Arcanists?
Yeah. So Bond becomes really easy to trigger down the line. Just need to keep one of them alive. It's especially funny with the minion that hands off plus attack every time you cast a spell. So definitely wants that way in the back. Goes for the mana anyway, so it can spell can be cast. Kills a minion that hands off a spell. So Kopiuyt's got another copy of Second Wish, which is kind of tempting to play now, just to start pushing big damage. But there's some extremely nasty minions on the battlefield. Kopiuyt can't deal with any of them now, but might need to drop a forward obelisk or something. Yeah, it just chops the avatar while it's small. Could potentially drop a Spelljammer on this top tile. Yeah. You always want to take a mana tile that an opponent is basically eyeing down. You don't want them to just take it for free. An Owl Beast and a ton of buffs. Agent Cypher doesn't have any way of immediately proccing this Owl Beast, so these units are really fragile. Not even going to drop the Owl Beast, because if you can't drop it and then immediately use it, it's just asking for it. Instead opting to turn this avatar into the Hell Dude. Going to be able to take out the Spelljammer for free. For literal free, because the BBS handed off a backstab spell. Pretty sick.
Ooh, I didn't even notice that.
You get 4 possible things out of She Dies BBS. They're all 1-mana spells with small effects. But if you can give yourself backstab against a high damage minion, that's a big effect. So skillful 1 in 4 there. Definitely made advantage of it. Presents Kopiuyt with a bit of a weird choice. Which of these 5-mana spells to drop? Probably the Star's Fury, but there's no way to kill off both the Avatar and the Illusionist, so one really needs to be chosen over the other. In that case, the play might be... Yeah, Blood of Air might just be it. Blood of Air is a little nicer to get later once you've got this obelisk down, though, that hands it +1 attack.
Yeah, 3 dervishes for 5 mana that are just going to get traded by the illusions is probably not worth it.
Yeah. Bit of face damage, but getting the Fireblaze Obelisk down is definitely worth, because it makes the Star's Fury real good. So it is probably Owl time. I don't think it's Panda time, but it could also be Panda time. Depends how much Agent Cypher doesn't want to deal with this Fireblaze Obelisk. It's probably the best obelisk. I guess Trigon's technically better, but it's so expensive.
What's the like the whitish blue one?
That's the yeah, Windstorm Obelisk. It gives you guys +3 defense or something. Which doesn't matter when they disappear after time, but maybe it's really good with Sand Swirls. I don't know. I haven't really seen that one used. And then there's the Lava Storm for the Horizontal Blast, and there's Token Obelisks. There's like an ethereal one that kills minions that damage it.
Because if you have a Dune caster, it might have more value. The Windstorm, because then they won't disappear.
Yep. Agent Cypher just slightly short on damage to kill off this obelisk. Even reactivating this Owlbear doesn't do it. Could potentially just run away. So this obelisk can't even reach. Owlbeast Sage. It's an excellent move, but this movement has actually generated a lot of extra spaces for Star's Fury. Because now it can spawn 7 things? 8 things? Oh my goodness. So Star's Fury with the +1 attack buff is going to be one hell of a move. It's so strong. This Albi Sage is actually doing a pretty good job keeping the whole board from just immediately evaporating. Because with 2 bucks or buffs on the generator and 1 on pretty much every token, these can't just wait. The +1 attack. Oh yeah, they could definitely trade in easily. Oof. Agent Cypher's in the roaster now.
This board is looking like a world war.
Able to get this owl off the table is pretty key. Even has a path to get to the generator. So both of the MVP Arcanists off the table. And Agent Cypher doesn't have much to build the board back up with. Gonna be looking now for the nasty dragon that draws 3 spells. Could potentially steal something, probably a wish with the Scroll Bandit. Not that great. Maybe now it's Onyx Bear Seal time. Man, Star's Fury is so sick. Who needs Fault? Fault is too slow for kopiuyt. Agent Cypher building his board up a little bit with this tiny Scroll Bandit. It could potentially hit twice with this Assassination Protocol, or really get in there. This BBS spell, Tanahashi, really annoying against an Obelisk that wants to be generating units nearby the enemy, but if you can just shunt it over a couple times, that kind of turns it off. Oh, and has a ton of wishes. Could potentially give this Iron Dervish or this Wind Dervish a huge buff. And even another buff and sustain with this Dunecaster. So kopiuyt's position's looking real nice.
Get the Panther in too.
And it has observed the first wish, which means just casting this 2 and 3, and then the 6 comes out. And it could come out like right in front of the general. Agent Cypher's been holding on to this Panda transformation spell though, waiting for it. All value generators must be destroyed. Can't have the Scroll Bandit generating free spells.
I think we're probably looking at an Onyx Bear Seal on that Dervish.
Yeah, which means it's not going to be ready for the Pantheron. So this Dervish is kind of bait. The other option is half the minions just die to kill it. And the hits just keep coming. There's another buffed up Wind Dervish on the way. Might replace the Assassination Protocol, might just full pass. Okay, definitely just gonna double hit it here. Pretty respectable. But there's an issue going on here. Agent Cypher's got a single card in hand. Fortunately, Gotatsu drawing an extra helps there a bit. And since this BBS is 2 spells in 1, this Albi Sage and this Illusionist have a ton of fodder. But Agent Cypher's finding that he does not have a ton of time. Panther is here. And it was cast honestly. So we're going to be seeing a panda plus probably tokens? Oh, panda plus owls. So instead of
There
having,
it is.
yeah, instead of having a lot of tiny minions that are really fragile, Agent Cypher's going to have a few minions that are really tall. And then puts himself in the corner with the building in the way to kind of limit how many things can attack at once. You can sometimes use the enemy's own units against them that way. Like if you get surrounded by a bunch of walls or something, then you can just look at it like some kind of shield. It's like, oh, thanks for all these 0-1s that you can't attack. Gonna actually have to be careful though, because this little panda is gonna come in and jail ya. So Agent Cypher could just be stuck here in the corner. And then might run into the same problem where these awesome minions are too far away to contribute. Oh, and a +2/+2. Yeah, Silent Second Wish, I think was how I first started laddering a bunch in DGG. Because you can end games pretty quickly. If you get a strong start and you just start going for their face with one of those. Agent Cypher with this Mana Vortex, definitely not what's needed. Murasame is quite nice, but is way too slow. Gonna have to basically hold all these spells in hand and hope that a Four Winds Magi is drawn. But is actually dead to stuff on table, by the looks of it. Or is quite close. So it's just gonna cast every spell immediately. Because even drawing a Four Winds Magi off the top there, I don't think would have been enough to turn it around.
Dunecaster do 2, Dervish would do 6 and 4. I think we'd have 1 health left.
Yeah. And then draws the Phoenix Fire. Agent Cypher 19, taking the first loss of the day. Kopiuyt in the upper bracket, well, previously was in the upper bracket, now been taken down to the lowest bracket along with Agent Cypher 19, is up 1-0. Yes, indeed. Which means we're in for a Vitruvian mirror. Because Kopiuyt,
yeah, baby.
Kopiuyt is only busting out Fae for emergencies, or at least not in this matchup. Going into it. Ready for game number 2, best of 3, number 2nd. Let's jump into this replay ending in a 1. Let's go into it in 3, 2, 1.
Nah, hold on.
Wait. Right, Kopiuyt here, actually has the win with both decks, so having one with the Xerix is moving over to the Fae. I keep alternating what I do with the rules.
Alright, do a countdown. You didn't already started, did you?
No. Jumping into second best of 3, game number 2, in 3, 2, 1, based. Kopiuyt is up 1-0. Having one with the Vitruvian means it is actually not possible for Vitruvian mirrors. So we got Vanar on display. With
Seen Kopiuyt play Vanar before.
we got some fun DGG exclusive stuff. We've got the Iceblade Binder and the Rolling Snowstorm. Snowstorm being a really slow environmental effect, I guess you could call it. It's a neat thing to copy because it's so cheap, or to cast a whole bunch of times if you can, or just to have it proc other stuff. Quite a variety of spells, in fact. It's going to be hard to play around everything. Pretty similar opening. to how you saw him open up before on the other side. Being able to snatch both these manas, it's quite nice. Could potentially drop a 5th Canopic right away. This 5-drop is really good against Fae. Sometimes this Vanar general looks to just go full artillery and then just nuke you from the backline. But there's one card that'll stop that pretty easily, so kopiuyt's not going to be able to rely on that. Might just Hearth Sister and cast Icy? Because when you take a mana tile with Hearth Sister, you can actually swap and get the mana collected. Opting to not swap seems pretty reasonable. Kopiuyt might not have any tools to deal with the sand tiles. Because it's not like there's a ice tile. But it's going to be a while before this fault can be cast.
Does every battle pet only have 3 letters in their name?
Yeah,
Like
it's a pretty good
grow,
gimmick.
Slow and icy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of funny.
You got grow, it grows. They just chop off the W.
Snow. It's snow.
Slow is pretty slow. Rock is named after a giant bird. Definitely rocks. This pet is going to happily crash into the stunned creature, though. Oh wait, never mind, not anymore. I would have considered taking 2 steps up with the general to have the pet bonk into the celebrant, but then that would allow it to be cleared by the Hearth Sister, and maybe not as good. And it's not like this mana needs to be taken immediately. Agent Cypher will get it eventually. Kind of a soft hand for kopiuyt. Not a lot that's going on. Drake Dowager is pretty funny. I think there's one of each Sentinel in this deck, so you can't tell which is which. Because we've got open lists, so people could just look up their bit.
I feel like Mesmerize is kind of a strange card because there's only 1 mana, but it's so much more like useful later on, like for securing like a lethal, you know?
Yeah, you can really mess up people's strategies with it. Or even just buy yourself an extra turn. I like it in Vanar for getting people into the center column, so you can cast Glacial Fissure to just bat them for 7 or so, or 8. Spelljammer is really nice for refill. All kinds of lists will run this thing just to keep them going. Agent Cypher going to take a step back and drop this 5th Canopic, most likely.
Where are the other 4 Canopics?
I don't know, but I designed a 6th Canopic for D2 contest.
Oh, really? That's sick.
Didn't
Does it
have a
work
great
the same
design
way?
for it though. It was just like it makes enemies move automatically in the same row, which was Zendo already does that sort of. But yeah, there were 4 other Canopics. If you actually want to know about them, Norinator knows all about the Canopics. Is actually taking the top 3 slots with his alts in the ladder right now. It's like a triple Grandmaster, and also a huge lorehead. Definitely knows all about it. I think a Canopic
Canopics are
is
the lore.
Canopic is like a vase that they like. It's like a phylactery kind of thing. I think. I don't know. We probably should get more acquainted with the lore doing all the single player content. Currently it doesn't have any plot or maps or anything other than the nodes that are connected. But if you haven't checked it out already, the roguelike's pretty sweet.
What about Argyon and his son?
Oh. Lore for a 4th general, perhaps? I was thinking about doing a Game Boy style game with Argeon as the main character. So maybe I ought to know about that. Ice Blade Binder has kind of a funny orientation on its card when it's facing to the left. But it looks
Yeah, it
just
looks a little
fine on the
off-center.
actual card preview. Yeah, and as we can see, without the 5th Canopic down, all these bolts can start running in. But this Portal Guardian is going to be just a huge fountain of damage, because the cat popped into a pair of Sand Dervishes. And with the Obelisk out, it's just a constant source of plus attack on this Guardian. So maybe dropping yet another Guardian is the play. And there's some pressure to use the BBS because it's on a cooldown of 1, which means if you don't use it now, it's going to be on a cooldown of 2 next turn. And then it'll be offline for 2 turns if used then. But it could be used now. There's a strong 7 mana play here between the Bloodseer Alchemist and the Fault, so we're gonna have to watch out for that. Agent Cypher probably not casting Fault next turn, even though he could. Got a couple Gatekeepers here for kopiuyt, pretty nice. Another DGG exclusive, just a stat beast. And its downside doesn't come up so often, because these sisters could swap in and out targets for them. Agent Cypher just gonna drop the Portal Guardian in the back corner. Nice and safe. And instead of opting to hold on to the Alchemist and BBS, just drops it for the extra ping. May have run out of time there on that turn to do everything they wanted. kopiuyt is trying to play around this Portal Guardian frenzy, just hits everything around it. It's kind of funny. At first I didn't even realize it had that extra keyword because it seemed like such a good unit already. But it's like a super tanky Mechanter War Beast at the end of the day if you can keep it alive and going. kopiuyt with his 6 mana would not fault him to just drop 2 Gatekeepers in a row. Well, here's the first one. It might be better though to unsummon with this Hailstone Prison on one of these, on this Portal Guardian. Sends it back in time a bit. And this Ice Blade Binder has a slowing effect, but it affects a row and not a column, so it's actually not doing anything right now. Just a couple intimidating 5-power minions hanging out.
I think that Hailstone Prison's gotta come out pretty soon.
It's gotta be, otherwise the Spelljammer is just dead. And can't even draw 2 cards. Okay, dropping the other elf instead. Fun trivia, this is the one elf in the game.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Helgen added
What's the
him.
point of making it an elf if there's no synergies?
Well, there's things that generate random units will actually pull from non-minion units. So stuff like Arcanists or Golems or Elf could be summoned on something like Grimes, which summons. It says a random minion on Opening Gambit and Dying Wish, but it's specifically these typed ones. And then there's another card called Faralu, which will give your minions that have a tribe +1/+1 from any tribe. So there's some weird tribal stuff in here. But our resident lore guy disagrees with Elf. I guess there weren't elves. but I think the creator is a fan of Tolkien, or I don't know. Maybe he had an elf in D&D.
Is that like a Duelist GG original? Is that just in this game?
Yeah, there was a member of the community had a fan game that he was working on that he didn't finish, but he had all these sprites, and the sprites are inspired off like Magic cards and some other games like Slay the Spire and Chrono Trigger. And he just gifted us like a dozen sprites, and they're incredible. So we've got a bunch of new cards. Muko, the remake creator's wife, actually did the sprite here for Iceblade Binder. That one's an original. As for this game, though, we can see an absolute swarming here. Sand Swirl Reader does a funny job removing a minion when the hand is full, because there's nowhere for it to bounce to, so it just gets destroyed. So definitely breaking up this posse at the top left pretty easily. Kopiuyt's got an incredible minion, though. His EMP can deal with these Portal Guardians like nothing. Just drops an EMP and they turn to 0/8s.
I think that's his best option right now.
And to probably try to bait a Glacial Fisher somehow, just like take one step to the right maybe, I don't know. But yeah, this turns off the Obelisk too. Doesn't hit the sand tile, but hitting everything else is good enough. And you don't want to take care of it with a Sand Swirl Reader because it can get another shot at Dispel, so it's going to probably be eating a Blood of Air here. Other option is casting a Cataclysmic Fault and running away to the right. Doesn't have any opportunities for a double spell, but each of these spells are so powerful, it's generally okay. 7/7 off the table. Blood of Air pretty incredible. Goes around Dying Wishes and stuff and gives you a minion that can use to crash into something else. And these 0/8s are really good blockers. So I was able to set up a little bit of a jail here for Kopiuyt. Ooh, and has critically taken 2 steps to the right. If Agent Cypher only took 1 step to the right, would be in the Hell Zone. But Glacial Fisher can't hit there. Unless a Mesmerize is also used. Mesmerize is also good.
Though on Agent Cypher's part.
Yeah. You can kick a unit off a sand tile with Mesmerize. It's pretty funny usage of it. Fortunately, Kopiuyt doesn't need to be next to his opponent to win. Has Cryptographer and has Warbird to do a ton of damage. Although we see the counter to that in this 5th Canopic. So here it is, Mesmerize, the setup for the Fisher. Could potentially mesmerize this other Sand Dervish too, just to get a real big hit in. Yeah.
He lines them all up, he can do a Fissure and a Warbird.
Boom, 10 damage! The ELO Destroyer has arrived. Curious what his opinion is on the creature type Elf. Because, why? I don't even know why that was added. I guess it was added just to, because it was green? Could not say. But we've got a bracket reset going on where Kopiuyt only needs to win 1 more game to clutch out the whole bit, and Agent Cypher is going to have to win 2 games here. Agent Cypher, though, is doing quite well on the board. And The old fallback for Faye is no longer viable. But Hailstone Prison can buy 1 turn of nuking. So kopiuyt's gonna go for it. With 7 mana, could go BBS, refresh the BBS, get a couple bits from the Bloodbound Mentor. Which is gonna be near lethal. Agent Cypher can't just replay this Canopic though. And one of the real powers of the Bloodbound Mentor is it gives you these token spells in your hand that are just perfect for replacing. So kopiuyt just goes ahead and replaces, finds another Bloodbound Mentor. Can really keep this ball rolling. And in paper, Agent Cypher is just dead, but this 5th Canopic can actually buy a ton of time. Mage Sworn also does a really similar thing. And this is the power of having 1 or 2 copies of a card that completely destroys some kinds of archetypes. I don't agree with attacking with the Portal Guardian here because I feel like you could have taken 1 step up with it to do a nice full surround. So that may have been a bit of a opportunity here for kopiuyt to come in. Then again, these spells are just not it. Kopiuyt needs something like Chromatic Cold to silence this Canopic in the back. Fortunately, isn't under threat of death immediately. So it's just going to carve a way to escape and then look to nuke from the corner.
A rolling snowstorm might be pretty useful.
Yeah, if kopiuyt's strategy is the hide on the left side, he could basically shoot a wave of snow that advances over and it will crunch all these obelisks along the way that it hits.
Oh, Andy's got a Warbird in his action bar. That doesn't count. Like, the 5th Canopic isn't going to do anything about that, right?
Yeah, this isn't a BBS. It's a funny token spell that's just a copy of it, so it could totally be cast. Makes it a pretty good draw. There's another one floating in the deck somewhere. So that actually could be lethal. Because this Lore Master is just going to duplicate a spell. 5th Canopic at the 2nd. I found our 6th Canopic. Although, like you, I don't know what happened to the first 4 Canopics. There was actually a post on the Discord, though. That went pretty in detail with it. Agent Cypher gonna have the timer as quick as possible. Looking to close it in 2 more turns. Kopiuyt doesn't have a great escape option. There's no out. Rift Beast is incredible draw, but it's too slow. Such an absolutely dominating looking board. It looks like Agent Cypher will be able to tie up the Grand Finals bracket reset series, so we can have a final game. Needs to take care of these 2 threats in front of him. So Hearth Sister can at least take care of the Stream Shaper. Nothing takes care of the Portal Guardian though. Kopiuyt trying to draw another Unsummon or something with the Silence First Wish, but not finding it. Able to clear a little space to go down to 1 health. would actually have a decent path to victory if could find another Warbird token, but here's Ka, Flying Rush. Agent Cypher tying up the series 1-1. So both of the Vitruvian decks have scored a win. Which means it's time for Shidai versus Faye. We actually haven't had that matchup yet.
No Vitruvian at all.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Ready to jump into... Yeah, it is. This was like the Vitruvian tournament. Like, over a third of our players, I think, were Vitruvian.
How many tournaments have you done like this?
This is the 5th one, and we're just wrapping it up. And then we might as well launch a 6th one, because, hey, why not? We gotta mix up the rule set and stuff, though, so... We're gonna change this double best of 3 thing to just one best of 5, and probably not have a losers and winners bracket, and... I'm probably just gonna throw the ban list in the garbage, at least for now. Yeah, there's a lot of things we can do for the next one. Are you ready to jump into the finale game?
Yeah, do the countdown.
Hold up, I sent you the wrong code.
Oh, the last one isn't. Second best of 3, the game 3.
Yeah, I think I had the number slightly off. Okay, let's jump into this number. Are you ready for that?
Yep.
Alright, final game of the night. Who is our champion? Does Agent Cypher 19 clear his curse of always getting 3rd place by just getting 1st? Or does kopiuyt from the upper bracket finally get it done? Let's have a look.
Why do you say kopiuyt like that?
Kopiuyt. Well, there's a Y at the end, so it kind of feels like
so,
it.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a silent Y, right? Kopiuyt.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been looking at it lately and thinking like kopiuyt, but no, that doesn't really work. Ready to go into the final game?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. By the way, I pasted.
Yeah, I did.
Here it is. Songhai versus Vanar for all the bananas.
How many bananas are we competing for?
All of them. There's a excellent trophy on the line that we produce every year. So Agent Cypher getting the first bite at movement here. Probably going to want to drop a Scroll Bandit and then look to possibly teleport and reactivate it.
It's got 2 Chakra avatars too.
Yeah, that's... It might be too many. So one of them just gets tossed back and turns into a spiral technique. Whoops, that's the wrong side of the polarity. That'll be a nice card for later, though. If kopiuyt's ever at 8, he's actually at 0. So replacing into an Owl-based Sage, the play is going to be to try to get that down on 2. And the Scroll Bandit is slightly tankier, so it's a little safer to drop first. And if you can get it somewhere behind the enemy, it's a little extra value, but Agent Cypher opting for the Avatar instead. Get the Chakra rolling. kopiuyt's got the other two Sentinels. One of them punishes spells, the other one just swaps into a creature. The Spell Punisher might be quite nice against Songhai, because they have a lot of spells. So here it is. Basilisk. Funny thing about this, it's got a rude trick. If you try to kill it with a Phoenix Fire, like a 3 damage spell, it immediately gets a +2/+2. Because it gets a +2 on each spell cast, and then it just absorbs the hit. The Slight Bender is going to be pretty key to take care of any gigantic minion like that, though. So Agent Cypher's got to be concerned about the Free Blade, because as we can see in this action bar, it would be a 3/5 that just is suddenly in your face, and your small value minion is right up next to them. But usually you try to rush this Owl-Beast Sage and get procs of it going. Dumping the hand might not be the greatest idea, though. Spelljammer in the middle tile? Steal a mana? I don't know. That would lose to a crypto play pretty hardly. Yeah, it's kind of tricky because there's 4 excellent 4-mana creatures here, and 2 of them are good plays right now. Another option is this avatar takes a step down left and then move the general into the center just to try to threaten every single mana tile. Problem with that is you have a dead turn. 3 mana, do nothing, pass? Is that what's happening? No, we're taking this. I'll be Sage in the face. Ooh. Casting spells anyway, so we've confirmed what kind of Sentinel it is. He knew it wasn't the minion one from dropping the Owl Beast, so was kind of playing a 1 in 3. And is just buffing right in front of its face. 2 buffs? A Gatatsu made it way more powerful. This is a spell that gave it +3/+2. What was that turn? Really feeling the pressure to get some Owl Beast procs, but I feel like it should have been delayed a turn. Because now this Basilisk can just eat this Owl Beast. Guessing games continue with another Sentinel.
I think it's about time for a Lightbender next turn.
Yeah, that Lightbender cannot come soon enough. Fortunately, has it, but the damage has already been done. This Basilisk just destroying that Owl Beast like nothing. At least has an extremely tanky avatar. It's the one thing Agent Cypher's got going for him. That's pretty good. Might take something like an EMP to take care of it. Might look to attack with his general first, yeah. Attacking with the general here would fish out a Drake Dowager, which would have been an incredible thing to also silence. Unfortunately, doesn't get that luck. So knows that this is going to immediately swap around with the Lightbender once it's used. But trading a 8/3 minion for a 3/5 minion seems fine to me. And the Dispel just kills it, because it was only being sustained with the buff. This Icy is pretty annoying though. Agent Cypher running a bit low on resources. Gonna be happy to drop this Spelljammer next turn. Alright, this is good placement in particular to keep the Lightbender alive from the pet. As far away from it as possible. Kopiuyt doesn't have the Glacial Fissure to just one-shot these 2 minions. Would have been pretty lit with the Mesmerize as well. Best minion option here seems to be dropping the Ice Blade Binder. Because you can combo an Ice Blade Binder with the Mesmerize and someone just can't move at all. Pretty strong play though, using Mesmerize to get it in range of the BBS. Normally you have to always be playing around Fae by not lining your stuff up vertically, but Mesmerize just gets around that. Gets another copy of Warbird. Usually you want your Lore Master to be copying some high impact spells, but yeah, it's a decent thing. It is kopiuyt's turn to counterattack. Or rather, yeah, we've got Agent Cypher 19 still to drop this Spelljammer and refill up. Gonna, in fact, reactivate this Spelljammer. Immediately taking out this Free Blade.
Gotta get that tempo somehow.
And then it might even be worth it to trade 3 general health just to chop away this Lore Master. Maybe not though, because that's like a turn and a half of getting hit by this BBS Warbird. Has a long way to go though. Only has the 3/2 on board, 2 cards in hand, but needs to get around 19 health. And has 2 tiny cards. Unfortunately, this 4 Winds Magi is going to be good for chopping through that. So some really nice draws there from Agent Cypher. kopiuyt could potentially steal Inner Focus with Lore Master, get himself a haste.
I think when the 4 Winds Magi gets played, that's when we're going to see the EMP.
Yeah, EMP is a really good response to this. It'll have a turn or so just to get a bunch of hits in. So to not play, or to play around the EMP, Agent Cypher's got to not drop this Chakra Avatar, because that's got to be the response to EMP. Okay, so Agent Cypher's health has been ticking down for a while. This Magi will help a bit. Owl Beast is pretty tempting. kopiuyt's got 2 sets of Blizzards in his hand, which does overlap to do 8 damage, but you want to actually cast these in different turns so it covers more area. Because if it's just one column, it's easy to avoid, but if it takes up half the map, you're not avoiding it. With 2 Mist Dragon Seals, this Ice Blade Binder could be destroyed. But it's a trade. Maybe the Spelljammer is more valuable being alive. Definitely need that out.
Two 15 health generals and the 4 Winds.
Yeah. The swaps and the stuns are pretty good with the Snowstorm too, but it's a little unfortunate that it's going to be starting at the left side of the arena, moving to the right, rather than the other way around, making the Snowstorms not great at this point. But there is a spell to punish this formation that does a bunch of damage to enemies on your starting side of the map. kopiuyt had it in his hand earlier, but not right now. Gonna need some other way to deal with this 4 Winds Magi. And that's gotta be an EMP. Maybe even just diagonally towards.
Well, he just instantly gave himself more value there. 7/7 against a 4/4.
Yeah, like this is pretty much unbeatable. Agent Cypher can get a couple of spell casts, so this Owl Beast could hand off some hit points. Gonna have to move into the corner to not get hit by the EMP. And probably an Owl Beast and 2 BBS casts of some kind. It does push the 4 Winds Magi high enough. Scroll Bandit's a consideration too, because that could block the EMP if it was placed above the 4 Winds Magi. Yeah, like this. Gives the Owl a turn to survive. Yeah, with an Owl Beast Sage, Agent Cypher can get cooking again. think it's still an inner focus for grabs. Or no, this Lore Master's gonna get a Petal Fury. That's a miserable spell to copy. EMP probably takes a diagonal step. Yeah, kills the Scroll Bandit, and then immediately gets... Oh, in for another 7, yeah, just to push it. Her Sister's pretty incredible. You see 3x of these in basically every Vanar deck. Even Gimmick decks run these. This is a 7 attack headache. And it can't even be backstabbed from where it is. Here's the Drake Dowager to punish the general from ever attacking. And the Kiyomori cannot be replaced. Spells that you get from the Shidai BBS are just stuck in your hand. So really it's a question of, is Jux good enough, or is a random card off the top gonna do it?
Because he's gonna have to switch the EMP and the Scroll Bandit or the Hearth Sister.
He's gonna have to throw the Owl Beast Sage and the Scroll Bandit just to clear this. Doesn't have a way to juxtapose someone really far away to beat it that way. Okay, so Scroll Bandit can stay alive with this formation. Gets a spell in the process. Kind of underwhelming, but Mesmerize is a good one to replace. Yeah, there it goes. Albie Sage just strong enough to survive hitting EMP. Keeping everything just juiced. Showing off that extra movement and the juxtaposition to keep the Hearth Sister out of range. Pretty decent board, but pretty low health total. Good luck winning off 6 when these BBSs do 2 per snap. Basically got 2 turns to survive. 1 turn with this Lore Master. So Agent Cypher is going to need to go in hot. Replace the Albie Sage. Yeah, I'm not seeing a draw that gets him out of this. Yeah, there it is right there. Warbird copied, lethal spotted. And with that, kopiuyt is your DGG number 5, DGGO number 5 champion. Yeah. He's done it.
Dude, I'm his biggest fan. I was just telling him that in Discord.
Yeah. Now he's got a trophy and a biggest fan. kopiuyt! Congratulations on your run all the way to the top. Went through Agent Cypher at the end there. Before that, had another match with Agent Cypher, so having to beat him multiple times in a row. And also going through Mushi Mango and Fuzzy Moth along the way. Excellent stuff. And thanks again, Rager, for jumping on to help cast. It's a lot of fun. Good amount of games.
Not a whole lot I had to say because I don't really understand the game that well, but that's okay.
Hey, it was great filler. It's perfect. Exactly what we needed for a little bit of extra spice.
Yeah.
It's a little regrettable that Agent Cypher 19 has ruined his awesome 3rd place streak, but gets a better placing for it, so that's just strictly better. So congratulations there, and yeah, this next tournament that we're going to be doing, it's going to be pretty similar to this one, except we're not going to have an upper bracket and a lower bracket. Just keep it simple with the upper bracket. And I was also thinking we do the 2-deck thing again, except for the finals, which can be best of 5. And the biggest mix-up compared to the most recent tournaments is the lack of a ban list. I'm feeling that we kept on adding more and more stuff into it, but it's time to get the pendulum going the other way. Yes, so congratulations one more time to kopiuyt. We will learn how to pronounce your name. I swear
You
it.
Russian or something?
I don't know. It's certainly something. Maybe I'll put it into a text to voice and see what that's like.
It was
But
like
yeah,
kopiuyt.
kopiuyt.
Because, you know, guys feel like GUY, so then, like, the Y is like I, you know?
Yeah, he plays I. Definitely. All right. Well, it's been a slice. Thanks everybody. Thanks again, Rager, and we are out of here. See you all
Bye-bye.
guys in the next time. Peace out.